And welcome everyone into our basketball preview here on YHC TV, also coming to you through YHCTV.com and Facebook Live. I'm Tyler Wagner, joined by Tommy Jacques, Mr. All-State Tommy Jacques, coming with us tonight.
It is.
And we're coming into our basketball season, and we want to invite you for our basketball preview here tonight, heading into the Thanksgiving weekend. And I'm ready, Tommy. How about you?
I am ready.
I'm ready. 2 days. Only 2 days.
I'm ready for Thanksgiving. I'm ready for basketball.
There you go. And what a great start to the basketball season that's coming up with the Riverbend Classic, which we'll touch in just a moment. But glad to join us here tonight. We're going to go through our broadcast schedule that we're going to bring to you here on YHC this year, and along the way preview these teams that we're touching on and what these teams are bringing back, what they did last year, and what we can look forward to this year for our high school basketball season. We're going to have coaches along the way to bring on the show for tonight, so a lot of fun for tonight, and glad you joined us. And if you're watching via replay, just tag along for the night, and we'll have some fun for this evening heading into the basketball season, which we're already gotten underway. A couple teams already gotten underway this week, and it's exciting as we're getting underway with the high school basketball season. And before we get started, we want to touch on, or before we get into our broadcast schedule, we want to touch on the Riverbend Classic that's coming up this Thanksgiving weekend on Friday and Saturday over at New Madrid. Always a great start to the basketball season here in Southeast Missouri with the Riverbend Classic. Taking a look at the schedule coming up Friday and Saturday. Here are the Friday games starting off at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Charleston will take on Cairo of Illinois, followed by New Madrid County Central versus Lake County, Tennessee. Then at 5 o'clock, we got Scott County Central versus West Memphis, Arkansas. And then later on at 6:30, it doesn't show there, but we have Kennett versus Covington, Tennessee, I believe it is. Kennett versus Covington, Tennessee at 6:30. And then the next day we've got Saturday, starting in the morning at 10 a.m., Scott County Central versus Cairo of Illinois. At 11:30, we'll have Kennett versus West Memphis, Arkansas. At 1 in the afternoon, a great matchup, Charleston versus Vashon. And then later on at 2:30, we'll have New Madrid County Central versus Covington, Tennessee, I believe. They're at 2:30. So there's the Riverbend Classic matchups at New Madrid for the weekend, and what sticks out there is the Vashon and Charleston game on Saturday afternoon.
I would expect a lot of Sykeston people at New Madrid County to watch Vashon.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of, all those games could be good games.
Yeah.
I heard West Memphis is probably almost as good as Vashon. That's what someone said.
Yeah, they've really good. They've been really good in Arkansas the last few years. I think they competed for state championships down there.
That's right.
Vashon, two-time defending state champions, coming to Madrid Saturday afternoon. Charleston will have their hands full for sure.
Yes, they will. Charleston's going to have a fine team, but they're going to have to be hitting on all cylinders to stay with that bunch.
Sure. So big action to look forward there, New Madrid over Thanksgiving weekend. And let's go ahead and roll into our broadcast schedule for the year, and we're going to start off with the Bernie Invitational Tournament Finals. That's going to be coming up Friday, December 1st. Friday, December 1st, the Bernie Invitational Tournament Finals. At that tournament we always start out with that cycles between Bernie, Holcomb, Campbell. It's at Bernie this year, and we're going to bring the finals of that on at 7 o'clock that December 1st evening on Friday. So we've got about a week and a half before we bring that contest there in Bernie, and we've got the seeds to show you for tonight. So let's take a look at those, starting off with Bernie with the top seed at number 1, 2, the Risco Tigers, 3, the Neelyville Tigers, 4, Puxico, 5, Twin Rivers, 6, Bloomfield, 7, Campbell, and 8, Holcomb. So your matchups will be 1-8, Bernie versus Holcomb. 2-7 will be Risco versus Campbell. 3-6 will be Neelyville versus Bloomfield. And the 4-5 matchup will be Puxico and Twin Rivers. So as you see there, the Bernie Invitational Tournament taking place that week, actually getting underway Monday. Can't remember what day that's on, but it's next Monday, finishing up on Friday, and we'll bring those finals live at 7 p.m. for the Bernie High School Gymnasium. And those top 2 seeds really stick out, Tommy, Bernie and Risco, that we might certainly see in the finals.
That's what I've been thinking all week when I first saw these come out. There's some good teams in there, and anything can happen. You better come prepared to play every night. But I look at that Bernie and Risco, and that could be Risco won it last year at Campbell, am I right?
Yeah.
And
They play Bernie.
Yeah, and Risco's going to bring back a nice team, and we know what Bernie's building, and I think they're going to have a nice team. So it should be a shootout over there.
Yeah, we'll get into Bernie and Risco coming up, but a really good tournament set up there at Bernie, and we're looking forward to bringing that final there on December 1st. And let's move on to our next game. We've got on Tuesday, December 5th, we've got Kelly at Bloomfield. Kelly at Bloomfield for that early game in the season. And the Bloomfield Wildcats bring back a young team, very young team. They had quite a few seniors move on in graduation last year, and we got the Bloomfield Wildcats slate there. As we see, their last year record was 15-12. The returning players include Peyton Bell, talented senior coming back, and some other players coming back. Dalton Phillips, also a senior, and Matt Gibbs, pretty much the only upperclassmen coming back from that Bloomfield team from last year. And a lot of good players moved on in graduation last night. Certainly Gibbs moving on, the older Gibbs. His first name's going to leave me for a second, but Gibbs moved on. Austin Phillips moves on. Quite a few players moving on in graduation last year. So a younger group coming back for the Wildcats this year.
It should be interesting for Bloomfield. Yeah. But they'll bring it every night. They'll play hard.
Yeah. And that'll be a good matchup for them early on. Kelly and Bloomfield, they matched up pretty well the last few years, but certainly a younger group coming back this year for the Wildcats, and we'll look forward to that game there in Bloomfield on Tuesday the 5th. And moving on, we've got next the Neelyville Tigers and the Clarkton Reindeer, and that'll be on Thursday, December 7th. Neelyville at Clarkton, and it's going to be fun going to Clarkton this year, which we'll talk about more of them coming up. But new improvements to the gymnasium.
Exactly.
Get a nice paint job and a new court. So the Clarkton Gymnasium looking really good this time of year.
We always enjoy going to Clarkton. Their fans support them whether they win a game all year or not.
Yeah, it's one of the best atmospheres. They've got their highs and lows, but the atmosphere, it's always going to be there.
We enjoy it. We have fun when we go to Clarkton.
Yeah, sure do. And there we go. Neelyville and Clarkton coming up on December 7th. There in Clarkton, and nice entrance to the gymnasium now. Very nice out front. So you'll certainly recognize the changes and be impressed once you go to the Clarkton Gymnasium this year. And moving on, we've got Campbell at Malden. Campbell at Malden coming up on Friday, December 8th. And that's a Boudel Conference matchup there as Campbell and Malden. We try to catch that game each year, and we're going to have Andrew Halford along with us here in just a moment. But that Boudel Conference matchup should be nice there, Tommy, with Campbell. Certainly one of their best years last year, defeating Bernie in that district tournament. Played in the district finals against Hayti, and a senior group that also moved on. They bring back a lot of underclassmen, so youthful team in Campbell certainly this year.
I think that's right. Malden is going to be they're going to be deeper than they have been in years. Going to be small, going to be quick, and going to have two boys come back out. D Triplet hadn't played since I guess junior high, and Mason Brown is coming back, and so that'll be good. The only two off of this team, and Coach will probably touch on this. This team was undefeated in junior high, and I understand a lot of things can happen between junior high and high school. They only had two move away, but that was Patrick Maddox, and I can't even think of this other kid's name, but Jimmy James I'll just put it this way, Jimmy James' grandson, and I can't think of it now, but that's two pretty good ones to lose. We know what kind of athlete Patrick Maddox is, and this grandson of Jimmy's, I don't know how they came out, but they were playing he's a starting quarterback for a football team down there too, and has for the last couple of years. They was playing for a state championship this year. So there was two pretty good ones move away.
All right, and now we got Andrew Halford along with us. And Coach, are you there?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
All right, good, Andrew. And talk about your team coming back, and certainly Tommy was talking about these football guys going to go to the basketball court this year. So you got some of those guys going to be making that transition, but you got a pretty good group of kids coming back with some experience from last year's team.
Yeah, we got 5 or 6 guys returning, some starters. The big thing is we got a bunch of hard-working kids coming back, kids that know what we expect, how we want to do things, and that makes it, easier on me because we can come into practice, right out of football and hit the ground running.
Sure. And some of those contributors last year, I know McBride had a pretty good year. He was certainly an aggressive guard for you all there last year, and some of the other kids coming back. I know Annister is going to be coming back with some experience as well. Stevenson, I don't know how he's going to play in, but he's certainly the physical guy we saw on the football field. That could certainly be an asset on the basketball court as well this year.
Absolutely. I mean, Deshaun Butler's another returner. Mm-hmm. He's not a football guy, but basketball guy we have coming back was our leading scorer last year. Mason Brown's coming out to play this year, the quarterback. Dontarian Triplett, we can absolutely use his big body for a basketball game to move some bodies around. All those guys are going to bring something positive to the table.
Yeah, I know it seems like the past couple of years we've seen a smaller, quicker team out of Malden, but maybe a little different this year. We might see a little bit more size and physicality out of y'all this year.
Well, we'll have some girth. We're not real tall, but we got some good strong bodies in D and Trey and Broderick and Dylan DeArmond. Those guys, and non-football guy Lonnie Hamilton. Those guys give us some physicality around the basket. Not a lot of height, but they play so physical, and they're such strong kids that their strength makes up for their lack of height.
Sure. So we're looking forward to this group coming in this year. I mentioned or forgot to mention Deshaun Butler, but it seems like there's always a Butler in Malden. It's hard to keep up with.
I think this may be coming to an end.
Just keep bringing them on.
Yeah, just keep bringing them through. Yeah, it's certainly a good string of them there. So we're looking forward to the Malden Green Wave this year. We got that matchup with Campbell. There at Malden there on the 8th, and we'll talk more about the games that we've got you on the schedule coming up, Andrew. But you are in the Oran Invitational that's going to get underway next week, so maybe we don't have the graphic for them, but give us a little insight on where you're standing in that tournament.
We ended up with a 2-seed at Oran. We're starting out with Richland, but we're going to have a tough way to go anything that we do because you got Oran as the defending Class 2 champions. You got Advance, who was Class 1 runner-up. You got Scott County Central. In that. So anything that you do in that tournament is going to be very difficult. You're going to get some good competition early to see where you're at, get a good judge of, what you need to do going forward. But it's always been good competition for us, good different competition for us going up there and seeing those teams.
Sure. Yeah, it's very competitive up there. Those teams, Oran and Advance, and throwing Malden and Scott County Central in there. Who got the 1 seed up there, by the way, Andrew?
Oran was the 1. We were the 2. Advance 3. Scott County 4.
Okay. All right. So that'll be a competitive tournament.
Yes, sir. Yes, it will.
All right. So, looking forward to the Green Wave this year. Andrew, appreciate you spending some time with us, and we'll look forward to seeing the Green Wave out there this year.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. See you down the road.
Thank you.
All right. So,
that's going to be pretty good. That's a good way to get a test early. And I want to apologize. That young boy that moved off, other one's Ben Owens.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know why I forgot him. He and his dad, we worked together broadcasting basketball for a few years.
Yeah.
But I look for good things out of Malden.
Sure. And let's move on to another game we got actually the next day. That's Friday, December 8th. Then we got Saturday, December 9th. We got a Saturday game in. And usually that's pretty significant, Tommy.
Yeah.
And this one is certainly a significant game. Clarkton at Portageville on Saturday, December 9th. I believe that's a 1 or 2 o'clock start. I can't remember that exactly, but this is a big day, and Jim Bidwell is going to be honored at this day, and I don't know exactly what they're doing, but I'm sure it's going to be some kind of a naming of the court, the gym, or something like that after Jim Bidwell. So he's going to be recognized and honored on that Saturday game, and it's pretty significant as well as his son, Jordan Bidwell, one of his sons, Jordan Bidwell, coaches the Clarkton Reindeer.
Right.
So he's going to be there on hand for that game. So it's going to be a great afternoon there in Portageville for December 9th.
That is great. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, and it's certainly appropriate to
very
give
deserving.
Jim Bidwell. Been there in the Portageville school system for decades, and certainly his time as basketball coach there at Portageville certainly deserved, and we'll be looking forward to being there for it, be able to be there for it on TV. So that'll be great. And moving on, do we have the graphic for them there on this game? Yeah, let's go take a look at the Portageville Bulldogs. And last year finishing 14-11 on the year. Not a bad year by the Bulldogs. They got quite the cast coming back from last year. Taking a look there, seniors in Hunter Gates, Ian Torrey, Also, Lamar Alexander and Alex Riddle, and some younger kids coming up. Bryce Roan as a junior, and also Bub Lance as a junior. Bub Lance really looked good as a sophomore last year, playing guard for the Bulldogs. And Alex Riddle, a really nice three-point shooter. And you throw in the athletes in Alexander, Gates, and Torrey. Well, those guys really get after it. A lot of athleticism out of those guys. This is a team to look out for this year in Porterville.
Right. Yeah, they were a nice team to watch last year. And there again, I hate to use the same thing, but you can't go to sleep on them any night because they're gonna play. Ian Torrey is a very fine athlete, as well as some of those other kids.
Yeah, and Hunter Gates, a really quick guard. He's really dual threat offensively, defensively, and these young kids coming up. Bryce Roan, he got some minutes last year. That Bub Lance really looked good.
He did.
And shooting the ball and being able to handle the ball for the Bulldogs. And Alex Riddle, he can really shoot the three. So it's going to be a pretty dynamic team in the Bulldogs, probably more than we've seen the last couple of years. They've got certainly the experience coming back. And that's what they've kind of had kids here and there that they're playing as a sophomore, playing as a freshman. That's tough to really contribute at a high level. But it seems like this year they got a load of upperclassmen, and that means more experience, and that could certainly be an asset for the Porterville Bulldogs this year. Not able to speak with Jason Irby tonight. He had a commitment to get to, but certainly we'll look forward to talking with him down the road. But look out for these Porterville Bulldogs for this basketball season. And let's move on to that Kennett and Malden game. We've got Tuesday, December 12th, Kennett and Malden. And that'll be a nice little Dunklin County matchup there. That'll be always one to try to get each year, Kennett and Malden. And take a look at the do we have Kennett down the way? Okay, we got Kennett Indians last season, finished right at 500, 13-13. And returning players, Patrick Maddox as a senior, Laquez Pulliam as a sophomore. I think he had a little time as a freshman last year. Thamius Mitchell as a junior, and Mark Wagner as a junior. Those are the kids coming back from last year's team. We'll probably see quite a few JV kids get into the fold, as we don't have shown here. But quite a few seniors moving on from last year, Tommy. This is going to be a young group coming in, with the exception of Maddox being the one with the most playing time coming back.
Yeah, that's right. Patrick will have his hands full in there, and he'll have some of those other kids will just get better the longer the season goes, and they're well coached. You know that guy a little bit, don't you?
Oh yeah, McFerrin down there. He did a great job last year.
He did. He sure did.
And the thing was, last year they had they had a upper class group, but an inexperienced upper class group. From 2 years ago, it seemed like they lost quite a bit, and then last year they brought more kids in and did well. They just dropped in the semifinal round of districts to Crothersville, and just come up a bit short as Crothersville went on to win the district. But Kennett lost quite a bit last year. I know we'll talk more about with Terry McVeigh coming up later. But losing some of those guys, going to have an even younger group this year, and more inexperienced group. But you can't count out a McFerrin team. They're going to be coming ready to play every night.
That's right.
The intensity will be there for sure.
You bet.
So we'll be looking forward to that game, Kennett and Malden, there on December 12th at Malden. And moving on, let's take a look at the Clarkton Holiday Tournament. That's we're going to carry the finals of that game. That's December 15th. And that'll be the nightcap of there for the Holiday Tournament Finals. We're going to bring from Clarkton, and not sure what the mix is going to be there for that tournament, but we're going to be there live at Clarkton for that tournament final. It'll be a great atmosphere as always.
Sure will.
Yeah.
Sure will.
And moving on, we've got Bell City and Risco. Bell City and Risco, that's December 18th, as the Risco Tigers bringing back a really, really good club. And we're going to host a couple of their games. We're going to bring on Brandon Blankenship here momentarily, but that'll be a nice one to cover there. Bell City and Risco at the Roy Hahn Gymnasium on December 18th. And we're going to take just a quick break, and we're going to come back and have a caller on the phone ready, so don't go away.
Hey, this is Daryl Wilcoxon from Wilcoxon's Home Place Furniture and Appliance at 901 South Bypass in Kennett. We've got lots of living room suites, mattresses, and appliances that we need to sell quick to make room for new products that are arriving daily. Come in today for a free gift as a token of our appreciation just for stopping in while supplies last. These deals won't last much longer, so hurry in to take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime event. Wilcoxon's Home Place Furniture and Appliance, 901 South Bypass in Kennett, Missouri, a family furniture tradition for 70 years.
If you're out and about in a big hurry and you're looking for a place to get gas, don't worry. The most complete convenience store has everything for you, like pork steak and 99-cent barbecue. So get out the truck and fill her up, cause we're the place to go if you're on the go. On the go. Or the coldest beer in town. On the go. Best fried chicken around. On the go. It's in Dexter and Bloomfield, you know. We're the place to go if you're on the go. Hey!
That's what you call deer hunting, son.
Whether you're out in the duck blinds, hogging catfish, or looking for your next big buck, get the tips and tricks to help you snag your prize. Catch Outdoors in the Delta on Sundays and Wednesdays on YHC TV.
And welcome back, and we're going to move on to our next game our next thing. We got the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament coming up. That'll be December 26th through the 29th, and the 61st Annual Christmas Tournament at Bloomfield. And now we're along with Jason Karnes, the tournament director. And Jason, it's good to have you with us tonight.
Thanks for having me, Tyler.
All right, so the 61st, Jason, had the big 60th last year, moving on to the 61st for this year. And it looks like the tournament's going to work out great. A Tuesday through a Friday, so Friday night, the last night, everybody can get off work, head to Bloomfield, and see the last 4 games of the Bloomfield tournament, and it's a great night to end it on.
Absolutely. It should work out pretty well. Even those of you who want to take vacations on vacation days on Tuesday and Wednesday, come join us all day, and we'll have a bunch of good basketball like we do every year. So.
Sure. Yeah, we've had some great tournaments the last few years, and this year certainly shouldn't be any different, as we're seeing some teams really start to look good. As we've talked about, some of these teams that's probably been in the middle of the pack in the tournament, might see them work their way up, such as Portageville, probably like Puxico, and some of those mid-tier teams like Twin Rivers start to really work their way and play better in the tournament, and really had a good it's been a really good past few years, Jason. And so we've seen some new teams move in, notably Gideon. That was their first year last year, so a little new face there in the tournament.
Yeah, it was a good addition. Gideon's got a good program, good young coach, and Jordan McGowan, and looking forward to see what he can do. But yeah, that's the thing about the tournament. You know, you get a good mixture. You got your Blue Hill teams, Kennett and South Penobscot and Haytide and those folks, and you got some from out west, Twin Rivers and Van Buren and Donovan. So it's always a good mix when you get a bunch of teams like that together for our 16-team tournament, and throw them all together and see what happens. So it should be exciting 4 days.
Yeah, it's a great tradition. There's just not those 16-team tournaments around anymore. I think you can't even start one now these days. They won't allow you to, but the great tradition of Bloomfield. And like you said, Jason, it's great bringing, we see some matchups at Bloomfield you won't ever see throughout the year. And teams out west like Van Buren and Donovan matching up with a Haytide or South Penobscot or some sort of that. You never see that. So that's certainly what the Christmas tournament brings, and the strength certainly of the tournament. And we're looking forward to another great year. And anything to look forward to this year at all, Jason, that we might not know of, or anything out there?
No, I mean, it'll be pretty much the same thing. You know, we've got the video board that we put in last year that we hopefully to break out a little bit, a few more things with it. Our students did really do a great job with that. They're still trying to learn how to utilize that the best, but we're going to try to have a few new concession stand items, and still always trying to make little adjustments here and there to always make this the best experience as we can, not only for the teams and players and coaches, but also the fans. And we hope to have another great crowd like we do every year, and appreciate what you guys do at YHC and helping us promote it, as well as other media outlets and newspapers and radios as well. And it's really a joint effort between a lot of people, and to me that's kind of what makes it so special. So we're looking forward to it, and it'll be here before we know it for sure, like it always is. It'll go by pretty quick. So next thing you know, we'll be here ready to go. So.
Sure, and we'll be looking forward to it. And thanks, Jason, for taking some time, and we'll look forward to the Christmas tournament once again this year.
Thank you, Tyler. Thanks for having me.
All right, see you down the road.
See you.
And appreciate Jason being with us tonight. And let's go and move on into some of our other games here. We got Kennett and New Madrid County Central. Kennett and New Madrid County Central, and that will be at New Madrid, and that's on Tuesday, January 2nd. Tuesday, January 2nd, there at New Madrid. So that'll be a nice little SEMO conference matchup there with Kennett and New Madrid. So,
yes, it will.
Coach Mack returning to New Madrid there, and Travis been a great friend of ours here on YHC over the last number of years, and should be a good matchup there on what's that date again? On January 2nd. Yeah, Kennett at New Madrid. And Coach Day, we got you on?
Yes.
Okay, Travis Day along with us over the phone. And Travis, good to have you with us tonight. And we just touched on the game we're going to bring to the folks out there, Kennett and New Madrid on January 2nd. But maybe first, before we get into that, we've got the Riverbend Classic coming up this weekend, over Thanksgiving weekend. And it's always a good kickoff to the season as people can get their turkey fix on Thursday and then sit back and enjoy some basketball there at New Madrid on Friday and Saturday. And a really good weekend coming up in basketball there at New Madrid.
It's going to be an awesome weekend of hoops. I can't wait.
Yeah, certainly. You got some good matchups there. What really stands out, as Tommy and I were talking earlier, is Vashon coming to town as the two-time defending Class 4 state champs. That's certainly a great addition to the weekend, having that kind of talent on the floor for the Riverbend.
I think, you watch them and go watch Charleston. You got Vashon, who's preseason ranked number 1 in Class 4, and you got Charleston, who's preseason number 8 in Class 3. I think it's going to be a great challenge for both teams.
Yeah, it's going to be a good matchup, and Vashon's been a traditional team there at the Riverbend, but they kind of went away for a while, but they're back in with full force after winning a couple state championships already, so they'll be a big part of that weekend. And we got our local teams in there: Kennett, Scott County Central, Charleston, and New Madrid. Taking on these teams that are coming in with Covington, Cairo, West Memphis, Lake County, and also Vashon. So we'll be looking forward to a great weekend getting underway Friday afternoon at 2 and then Saturday morning at 10. So everybody look forward to that over the Thanksgiving weekend, Friday and Saturday. So we'll be looking forward to that. And Travis, coming into this year, you graduated some seniors last year, a pretty experienced group last year, so a little younger it seems this year. What can you tell us about your team coming in?
It's going to be kind of interesting for us. Like I said, we only got 2 guys that even had a varsity uniform on last year. So, we're going to be young and new. So I think this year will be a great year for us to learn how to compete, and even learn how to play basketball. But I think we'll be a type of team that I think we got a chance to get better as the season goes along.
Yeah, and you're probably your best returning player. I don't know about best, but more experienced player coming back, probably Johnny Walker. Is going to be playing, I think, as a junior this year. To have that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Johnny got some pretty good time last year. Other than that, you had quite a few upperclassmen that really filled out your lineup. So Johnny coming back as a junior and going to be playing some younger guys, but it just means more experience at a younger age, pay dividends down the road. So it's high school basketball, and it happens about every other year, it seems like. So we'll be looking forward to some new faces out there this year.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. That's what I'm looking for. I'm throwing some young guys out there, some new guys out there, just to get that experience of how to play, especially being in the SEMO conference. Our conference is tough, so we just going to have to learn game in and game out.
Yeah, certainly. You got to get out there, get the experience. You'll certainly get it early. You got the Riverbend with some good opponents there. Also the SEMO Conference Tournament, which you'll open up that opening round game with Kennett, with a chance to move on and play Sykeston. So got some pretty good tests to open up the season with.
A very, very good test to open up the season. And, as coaches, you want to win all your games, but sometimes you got to use your games as learning tools. So for us early, it's going to be more of us seeing who can do what kid can do this and this situation, what kid can do that situation. So
it also going to help us coaches out.
Sure. And speaking of that game, we're going to be doing there with New Madrid first on January 2nd. You know, Coach McFerrin there at Kennett now, and you're still at New Madrid, and both of y'all had great success there at New Madrid. You're a state champion on the 88 team there in high school, you know, doing a great job there as a coach now, and Mac certainly winning his couple of state titles there at New Madrid. So going to be quite a lot of success on that sideline come January 2nd, Travis.
Oh, it's going to be great. I think anytime you can go against a legendary coach like Coach Mac, you're always learning. You know, when you compete against them, you're also learning from them when you get back and watch film. So I take it as a great honor to be able to coach against them.
Yeah, certainly. That's one thing. We talked about it earlier with Kenneth this year. They're going to be kind of like just like you all, going to be a little younger this year, a little bit more inexperienced. But certainly with the Coach Mac team, the intensity will be there throughout the whole game, and that's kind of you kind of go the same way. Your teams are always intense on both sides of the court, and we'll be looking forward to that. That should be a pretty intense game there on January 2nd.
That's what I'm hoping.
Sure. All right, so we got a couple dates that we're going to be doing some New Madrid games, which we'll get to a little later. But Travis, we appreciate you spending some time with us tonight, and we'll see you down the road.
We'll see you, Tyler.
Okay, see you, Travis.
Take care.
All right, appreciate Travis joining us for that January 2nd game. That'll be a fun one.
Oh, it will be.
Yeah.
It sure will.
All right, let's move on to let's go ahead and move on to our next one. We got East Prairie and Risco, and that'll be coming up on, take a look at that. East Prairie and Risco will be on January 4th, a Thursday night, January 4th. East Prairie and Risco. It'll be a nice matchup there. And two old Risco guys with Casey Knight for East Prairie and Brandon Blankenship attending there at Risco, both of them. So that'll be fun to look forward to there between those two on Thursday, January 4th, between the East Prairie Eagles and the Risco Tigers.
With the Risco
Okay, you're missing Brandon there for a second. And we'll be looking forward to that. Let's take a look at the Risco Tigers. They were 25-3 on the year last year, a great season. Won the district championship, won the district championship and lost the district championship. They lost to Scott County Central in the district championship. And I've got a great team coming back. And Brandon, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, we got Brandon Blankenship on the phone with us. And Brandon, great season last year, 25-3. Just come up short against Scott County Central in the district championship game. But got a great team coming back, a very experienced team coming back. So the kids surely should be motivated coming into this season.
Oh, they are. You know, we had a great season last year, best record in school history. So we were pretty excited about that. But, you know, you always want to get that district championship and advance in the state playoffs, and we kind of fell short on that. We won every other tournament that we were involved in, though, which was nice too. But yeah, lost some good seniors, some good senior leaders, in Drew Fortner, Tony Green, Ethan Pipkin. You know, Drew being all district, all conference, and just good kids first and foremost, and good leaders. But with the guys that we have coming back, you know, we feel really good about our team. With Nathan Burnett and Morgan Ludwig being they were our first and second leading scorers last year. Both of them were all conference first team, all district. So we feel really good about those guys leading us forward. And then Morgan is our only senior. And so we have E.J. Myers and Garrett Young, James Rydell, Tristan Meesey, and those guys were sophomores last year, but they were guys 6, 7, 8, 9 on the varsity last year as well, and so they got big minutes in big games too. And so I mean, we feel good about the experience. We had a pretty good summer too, so we like what we got. We're not super deep. We don't have just a big bench. We only have 11 kids in the whole program right now, but we got to looking the other day. We only have 19 boys in the entire high school. So we have 11 out of 19 on the team. So that's pretty good numbers.
Well, yeah, you know, it's you gotta have to put them all together, some years. But last year, Drew Fortner, he was a great part of that team. So you're going to lose a little size with him moving on. But we're probably going to see a fast and furious Risco Tigers team this year, I would assume.
Right. We like to push when we can. We like to get up and down the court. We got some shooters, with Burnett and Myers and other guys that can really shoot the basketball. So, we do like to play that way. We did get a transfer student in from Malden that gives us a little size. He's Daniel Payne is his name. He's about 6'3" and pretty big, stocky kid. So he's going to help out. Never really played basketball before, but he's just a junior. So he's going to help out by the this season and next season for sure. So we like what we got, and we're ready to get going. We're tired of beating on each other in practice.
Yeah, you don't have any guys to lose with 11.
Right. I can't let them beat on each other too much.
Right. True. You got some great young kids coming back. I know Nathan Burnett. He's been on a roll since his freshman year. Only going to be a junior this year. Morgan Ludwig, as you said, he played great last year. He's going to be your senior. So those two guys can really light it up once they get going. And you got some younger kids, as you said. Myers going to be getting more time this year among some others. So got a pretty good experienced group, but also some younger kids that are going to come up and contribute as well.
Right. Nate and Morgan, they play on an AAU team with Jim Jones over there, the Missouri Mavericks. And, of course, we play probably close to 25 games during the summer, and they played about probably 40 or 50 or so with that bunch. So they've definitely put in the work and put in the time. And so, we're excited about those guys. But then, our other core of guys, our junior class has been together, all the way through. And, they've been successful at every level of junior high and, just every year. And so they know how to play. They know how to play well together. And those guys know what their job is on the team, and they do it well. And they work well together. So, those guys like James Rydell, I mean, he hustles for us. He gets rebounds. He does a lot of the dirty work for us. EJ's a shooter. Garrett Young is one of our better defenders and does a lot of the little things too. He's a good passer. Tristan Meesey is a little bit undersized, but he's grown some, and he's stronger, and he's able to get to the basket and shoot the ball. So we're excited about that bunch.
Yeah, looking forward to the Tigers coming back this year. This will be one of the better small schools in the area. You open up with the Bernie Invitational Tournament next week, so that'll be a great tournament to see Risco Tigers work through that tournament. You won that tournament last year over in Campbell, and you beat Bernie, which Bernie's sitting up the top with you all as well, the top seeds. So we might see that rematch, but either way, it's going to be a fun tournament to watch next week.
Yeah, and that's a good tournament. That's a real good tournament for us. We're the only Class 1 school in it, so it's good to come out and play some bigger schools and get some good competitions. Always good competition. There's some really good coaches in this tournament too. And so, Neelyville's going to be one to watch. They're in our side of the bracket, and they got some athleticism, some size. Bring back a lot of guys from last year. We could potentially match up with them in the semifinals if the seeds hold true. And you're just always in tournaments. You're just wanting to play well and get an opportunity to to maybe get in the championship game and then just kind of see what happens at that point. We do actually open up, though, this Saturday over at Van Buren. We have a game in the Current River Challenge over there Saturday, and it's kind of interesting matchup. We play Dora. Dora is, I think, the number 9 ranked team in the state on the preseason poll. We don't know a whole lot about them. We did hear that they came to one of the Rib City deals this summer and had really good success. I know they're young. They got a lot of freshmen. I think the coach has got triplets, and then there's a kid named Isaac Haney, who's a good player. So that'll be a real good real good test for us starting out.
Sure. Yeah, you got Door and then right into the Bernie tournament the next week. So yeah, we'll be looking forward to your first games, especially there on East Prairie and Risco that night. Going to be taking on Casey Knight there, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, they got some good players over there. Casey does a great job. So it'll be I think that one's at Risco, right? They'll be coming to Risco this year. So yeah, they have a real nice team there. We had a pretty good battle this summer. I think the game went to overtime when we played them this summer. So yeah, that's right after Christmas. There should be a good one.
Yep, we'll be looking forward to it, and we'll be doing your Bell City Risco game there on the 18th as well, December 18th. So we're looking forward to the season this year, Brandon, and we'll be sure to see you out down the road.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate it.
Brandon. Yep, see you.
All right, bye.
And appreciate Brandon being along with us, and this is going to be an exciting team.
It sure is.
Yeah.
And this Dora team, are they in Class 1?
Yeah, they're a Class 1
Well, what's
team.
Risco preseason is what? Well, they're ranked.
I don't know. I
think.
actually haven't seen the rankings, so I'm not really sure about that.
I want to say they're in the, around the 5 or 6 or something like that.
I don't know, but yeah, I think it won't take long through the year that we'll see them in that top 10
I think
relatively soon in the season.
Yeah,
So
but I think they are, but I could be mistaken, but I think they are.
yeah.
If
All
they're
right.
not, they should be.
Yeah, they should be, and if they're not, they will be. They'll certainly have another great year coming up for the Tigers. And let's move on to another. Let's go to our next game. We're coming from January 4th, moving to the next night, Friday, January 5th. Advance at Bernie, and this should be a good one. A good Stoddard County Conference matchup, and Advance going all the way. Class 2 Class 1 coming up just a bit short. And the state championship game with a second place finish, and taking on the Bernie Mules. And just taking a look at the Bernie Mules, last season record 14-13, finished just above 500, and returning very experienced group. You got Michael Suter coming back as a senior, Josh Ellenberg as a junior, Hunter Slavings as a junior, Nate Dillinger averaged over 25 points a game last year, coming back as the senior, Gavin Brown as a senior, and also Dalton Hopgood as a senior. So a very experienced group with the Bernie Mules this year. And we've also got the Advance Hornets. And the Advance Hornets, they've got, as we said, they finished second in Class 1 last year, coming with a 26-7 record last year. And returning Armani Vermillion, one of the best players in Southeast Missouri this year, and also Michael Hood. They did lose some guys last year, lost some key contributors, but Armani Vermillion and Michael Hood, them two enough can win you some ball games.
They're very talented, and that's a good two to try to build around too.
Sure.
That Vermillion is just a fun kid to watch.
Yeah, he is. He's been fun, and we'll be looking forward to seeing him once again this year. And speaking of the Bernie Mules, and we've got Coach Brad Botsch along with us. And Brad, are you there?
Hey Tyler, how's it going?
Good. It's good to have you with us tonight. And we're talking about the Mules, Brad, and a very experienced team you've got coming in this year.
Well, we bring back quite a bit of scoring from last year, and not just that, some senior experience, and we're pretty optimistic on our season and the personnel that we have, and hope that our kids are going to buy into what we want to do and have the same high expectations that we have, and we're looking forward to the season getting started.
Sure. And these guys coming in, especially your seniors, Brad, they've had to take their lumps over the last few years. These kids had to play a lot of minutes as sophomores. They may or may not have been ready for the varsity game, but they've really had to play some minutes, get out there and play these upperclassmen over the number of years. But now they're seniors with certainly a talented juniors and even some underclassmen. These guys should be not only motivated but certainly experienced to come in, and also with the motivation to come in there that they're ready for the challenge for this season.
Yeah, these guys have taken some lumps, and as coaches, you really don't like to have to put kids in situations where they really aren't able to be successful. And we've had to do that, over the, the past couple of years. And, we had a decent year last year, but not what we would like. And, the year before that was really a rebuilding year. But, small schools go through that. It's kind of the process, and you just got to work through that. But, we've got a group this year. If they really would realize the experience they have and how hard they've worked and the time they've put in, they've got a chance to be a pretty good team. I mean, there's no doubt that we're going to have some scoring with what we've got coming back, but we've also got some kids coming up as juniors that are not just supporting roles, they're primary roles. Those guys can score, and sometimes, they're more passive than we would like to see them. But, we're looking forward to the season. I think probably our biggest question mark at this point is our defense. If our kids will guard, I really think we got a great shot, and we've been stressing that from day one. But and every coach says that it comes down to defense and rebounding, and that's cliche, but it really is the ticket for us. I think we're going to be able to score with anybody. But if our kids can get stops and play with toughness, rebound the basketball well, I think that's what separates you from being good and being great. And, again, until the season gets rolling, nobody really knows what you're going to do. And everybody's optimistic and everybody's, hyped up about the season. But, it remains to be seen how our kids are going to handle the situations they're put in, and we're ready to get the ball rolling just like everybody else, and I'm optimistic, and we have high expectations, and hope to build on those expectations.
Sure. And that record last year, Brad, 14-13, I don't think it really does it justice, because y'all played really good ball at the end of the year. I know that Hayti game on the road last year, well, it had to have been the win of the season. A very impressive win on the road, beating a very good Hayti team. That seemed like that was the peak of y'all's season. Come up a bit short in districts with Campbell, but that was some really good basketball y'all played there towards the end, especially that Hayti game that sticks out.
Yeah, Hayti is just super athletic, and any name with a Bible behind it's going to be doing a great job down there, and they're going to be right there with anybody this year, and every year they're going to throw bodies out there that are going to be extremely athletic and play hard, and we're going to have to figure out ways to combat that and beat them. And that's the challenge that we as coaches have, and our kids have as well. And at times we really had some good moments, and at times we're kind of like, man, we got a long way to go. So, coming into the season, these kids have gotten stronger. I think our ball handling and guard plays probably improved quite a bit over what we've had. We struggled at times last year with different things, and I think we're in a different category than what we were last year. But in the end, again, the cliche statement is it comes down to defense and rebounding, and I truly believe that. That's not just an old coach wives' tale. It's really the truth. And if our kids are guarding, defend like we want them to do, and like we continue to work at and continue to push them to do, I think we can be probably as successful as anybody around. But if you look at, just take for instance a team like Oran last year, who won it all. Extremely well coached. Their kids are just so intelligent with the basketball on offense, and then they do their job defensively and they rebound well. They don't make mistakes. And if you can do those things, you can be successful throughout an entire season. And Joe's always got his kids doing exactly what we want to do. And we want to shoot for the stars. We want to rival teams. Right now, Oran's on the top of the food chain. So, we're going to have to find ways to be able to compete with teams like that. And because that's our goal. Our goal is not just to be competitive. Our goal is to win championships. And if we don't do that, we're not happy about it. And we've got to find a way to fix things and get better. And if we don't, we're going to keep working at it until we can find a way to fix things and get better.
Sure. And speaking of the conference, the Stoddard County Conference has been great to watch the last couple of years. And this year, we're going to probably see you all work your way up to the top of the conference up there with Dexter and Advance going to be right there in the mix. So that conference is going to be fun to watch once again this year. And, of course, that Dexter-Bernie game will be right up there to watch this year.
Well, it's always fun in the conference. And, it's fun for the fans, and towns are so close. And, everybody's 8-10 miles apart, and everybody gets into those games. But, as far as the way we prepare our kids, we prepare them the same way every game. We're going to look at the game in front of us, and that's our focus. And back to the talk about the conference, of course, Dexter is they've got a lot of their kids back, and Coach Dowdy does a great job up there with his kids, and they're always hard-nosed and play well, and just a real challenge anytime. And, Advanced Puxco are going to be contenders, and, you look at Bloomfield always being solid. So, and not to mention even the other teams. So they Woodland's been good the past several years, and, we've got to be ready every single night that we play. And honestly, we welcome that just because of the fact that's what we want us to prepare. That's what we want to prepare us for districts. Our goal is to win district championships, and if we don't, we're not satisfied with the season regardless of what happened. And there's a lot of things that can happen within a season, whether it be injuries or sickness or just poor play or youth. But in the end, your goal is to find a way to win the district championship, move on to state playoffs, and that's what we want to have our kids have the expectation to have every single year.
Sure, and we'll be looking forward to that experienced group this year, Brad, and looking to certainly see the Bernie Mules up there in the conference and competing for a district title this year. It's going to be fun to see, and starting with your Bernie tournament next week, it's going to be a fun one to watch next week.
Well, we hope so. I mean, we've got. I think we've got enough firepower to compete with most people, but we also have some learning curve just yet. We've got some question marks we're going to have to answer, and again, it's going to come down to whether we defend. I think we're going to score well. We've got a team that's got some kids that can shoot the ball, and not just a couple. We've got some depth. We did have an injury to Dalton Hopgood. He looks like he's going to be out for the season with an ACL tear. So that does hurt our depth some, and Dalton had been really competing well in practice and would have been the senior. But, we've got some other kids that are going to have to step up and fill those shoes, and we feel that we can do that, even though we would love to have him compete for us this year.
Yeah,
but
that's tough.
It's anybody's guess right now. Again, as how the season's going to unfold. You think you kind of have an idea of what you've got and what you're going to do, but in the end, and I've said it several times already, it comes down to how you defend. And if our kids will defend and buy into what we want them to do, with whatever defense that we play, that's what's going to make the difference in wins and losses. It's not going to be the points we put on the board. It's going to be the points we prevent.
Sure. All right. So we're looking forward to getting started, Brad. I know you're itching to get out there, and we're looking forward to your tournament getting underway next week, and can't wait. And we'll see you out there, Brad. Appreciate you spending some time with us tonight.
You bet. Thanks for having me on, Tyler. You guys take care.
Yeah, you too. So it's defense, Tommy.
That's it.
Comes down to defense.
and as good a coach as Botsch, we know that's what he's going to say.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it starts on defense, man.
Yeah, you're going to play defense, or you're not going to play.
Right. And that's where it starts. And I'm looking forward to this Bernie team this year.
Too.
And these kids, he talked about it 2 years ago. These kids playing as sophomores. And, they were carrying the load at sophomores.
Sure were.
They were having to do a lot offensively and defensively. And it's good to see these kids get the experience and try to get it to pay off.
And I sure hate about the Hopgood kid.
Yeah,
he was one of the main players.
Yeah.
I'm ready to see these kids get some recognition because they've certainly put in the time.
Yeah, certainly. All right, let's move on to the next one. And let's move on to we've got what we got up next here. Let's go to our next game. We're going from Advance of Bernie to Dexter and Bloomfield on January 9th. January 9th, we got Dexter and Bloomfield. Nice Stoddard County matchup there. And we're going to get Josh Dowdy on the phone here. Let's see if we can get him dialed up here. Be a nice Stoddard County matchup there at Bloomfield on Tuesday, January 9th. Tuesday, January 9th. And we've got Josh Dowdy on the phone. Are you there, Josh? Oh, sorry.
Hello?
All right, Josh, are you there? Josh?
Hello?
Coach Dowdy, are you there?
I'm here. How you doing, man?
All right, we got you on. So.
All right, you're already live?
All right, we're already live, brother. We.
All right, sounds like a plan. I appreciate you having me on.
Right out of the gate, man.
You guys are quick.
Yeah. And Josh, looking forward to the Bearcats this year. You had a great year last year. Did great in the conference, and it's been a great conference the last number of years. And this you won the Bloomfield Christmas tournament last year. That was certainly a season high. And you did well going into districts. You took Sykeston all the way to the wire. You gave them all you wanted. So you got a pretty experienced group coming back. So coming in off of last year, coming into this year, there's got to be quite a bit of confidence this year.
Yeah, we're real excited about this group. Like you said, we did have some success in the Christmas tournament, and the kids are ready to get back to that tournament and see if we can play that late game again, and bringing back 3 guys off of last year's team. We lost, obviously, Jason Gerald, who was a 3-year starter here and did so much for our program. And so we're finding a way to replace him. And we just feel we have the guys to do that. And it's not going to just be 1. It's going to be 4 or 5. And that's what's cool about this group. I think we're going to have a lot of depth. We know we are. We've never played. We've never been able to play this many kids. So we're gonna have 5 kids, or 5 seniors on our roster, along with 5 juniors, and we feel like these juniors are gonna really be a nice supporting cast for our seniors.
Sure. Yeah, you got some talented juniors coming up. Joe Rice, Nate Gargis. There's some in there. Actually, what was that new kid that moved in last year? Bigger kid.
Now we have Clay Mullins. Now he'll be a senior. He was our point guard last year and will serve in that position again. Ben Sindel, obviously, is returning as a shooting guard. And then the man in the middle, he's going to come back, Gabe Jackson.
Yeah, Gabe Jackson.
Yes. But from a junior standpoint, we have Joe Rice, Seth Rogers has come back to play with us, Braxton Foster, Nate Gargis, and Joe. So we're just really excited about the bunch. It's probably the most competitive practices we've had since I've been at Dexter. It's my 4th year as head coach, and I started with the senior bunch when they were 7th graders, and it's just neat to see these guys grow as young men. It's been a treat. I love throwing them out there as basketball players, but to see these guys and mature over the years and just the young men they've become, it's pretty neat to see each day.
Yeah, the kid that moved in was Clay Mullins. He moved in last year and played well as a junior and back as a senior this year. And Gabe Jackson, he's been there in the mix the last couple of years, doing great. So he's been certainly one of the experienced players coming in. And
he hasn't got any smaller, I can tell you that.
Well, he's pushing around people on the football field, Josh. What's he supposed to do?
I understand that. I'm just glad to see that he's come to basketball healthy. He came to us at 267, if I think I said that right, and we've trimmed about. I think our goal was to get him around 245. I think he's like 250, 251. I was hoping by Thanksgiving he'd be in the 240s. So I've told Dale to, feed him apples and not mashed potatoes over Thanksgiving. So we'll see what happens. But this group, I'm so proud of them from a preseason standpoint. I'm never going to be pleased at this point. You're just going to keep pushing them, and that's what we've done. I mean, we're throwing every punch at these guys, and for some reason they keep taking it and coming back for more each day, and I just have to believe that's just going to help us down the road this year.
Yeah, and you got a pretty good group coming back, Josh. You got you got quite a few JV kids that had a great season last year at the JV level. Going to be able to contribute coming up to the upper class level. So should see about the same kind of team from last year from Dexter, and that means a pretty solid season right there in the mix of the Bloomfield Christmas tournament and competitive in district play, which I know that's your ultimate goal. You've competed well in Stoddard County, but that Class 4 District 1, that's certainly another level, and you competed right there with perhaps one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the state last year with the Sykes and Bulldogs. So you're certainly getting there.
That was a pretty fun night, and it's one of those deals. I don't know if we can get back there again to give ourselves that opportunity, but if so, I know we're going to battle just like we did last year, and that's all we can control. And we wish we would have cashed that darn thing in. It just didn't fall in the end, but there's no shame in that. That's a good program, and obviously they're bringing back their same cast plus a 2 or 3, so it's going to be difficult. But again, all we can control is how hard we work each day and how we compete in practice, and we're talking about the finer details of blocking out and a stance and just all those little things that I've never really touched on and emphasized this early in the season. You always talk about it, but man, we're making new bear crawls and wall sits, and I'm sure they hate me right now, but I'm just trying to let them know that we're doing it for a purpose, and they just keep taking it, and I'm proud of them.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to it. You'll be opening up with Charleston next week, so that'll be certainly a good test to open up in Seymour Conference play, and we'll be looking forward to another great season in the Stoddard County Conference as well this year. And Josh, we appreciate you spending some time with us tonight, and we'll look forward to getting the season started.
Hey, thank you guys and everything you do for our area athletes, Tyler. We really appreciate it, buddy.
All right, appreciate it, and we'll see you down the road.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
All right. And, the Dexter Bearcats, strong season last year.
I think, it's Terry McVeigh and you and myself, we're not too good at picking Bloomfield winners. We don't have a good track record, but I tell you what, they're going to be in the mix.
Yeah, defending champs handled Hayti well last year. They really had Hayti had a hard time with Gabe Jackson, big size, and Hayti just couldn't match up. But and he's going to be coming back. I know Josh is going to be working on him, get him down where he wants him. But one of the bigger, better big guys in the area for the Bearcats.
You're exactly right. He's fun to watch. Dexter going to be pretty good. I think they're going to. And last year, Coach Dowdy and his Bearcat, I know they put the Fried Life and Sykes in that district tournament because, they just took them to the wire.
Yeah, they did. They took them all the way to the wire. It was exciting, but. Sykes ended up making the run as we expected, but take them as close as they did. I think they lost by 3 or 4 points.
Not very many. Yeah.
It was just a possession or 2, and they're in the district semifinals. So we'll be looking forward to another fine Bearcat season this year. And let's move on to our next game. That what we touched on was Dexter and Bloomfield on January 9th. That Tuesday night. We're going to move on to Thursday, January 11th. Our first girls game of the year. We've got the Dexter girls taking on the Neelyville Lady Tigers at the Bearcat Event Center on that Thursday, January 11th. And the Dexter Lady Bearcats bringing back a very good team this year. Yes, they're going to have quite a few returning players from last year's team. A 23-9 record last year, going to the district, or actually won the district championship. Went all the way to the Final Four, got 3rd place, knocking off Carl Junction in the 3rd place game. So a fine season last year from the Dexter Lady Bearcats. They return seniors Hannah Thurman. Kristen Garrison suffered a knee injury, a torn ACL in the summer, and she is getting back to form rather quickly, and they expect her to come back later in the season at some point. So at the time, it seemed like it was pretty bleak that she wouldn't be in the mix this year, but looks like she will be back at some point. We'll see. Hopefully that is the case. She's a great contributor, a great volleyball player. She missed her volleyball season, going on to play at New Mexico next year at the college volleyball level, and it looks like she might very well have a chance to return to the basketball court this year, which will be great. And also returning Shaylee Mosby Jr., great all-state player, and Shaylee Mosby coming back and only a junior this year. Great year last year. Also contributors Macy Martin, a junior, and Natalie Seitz, also a junior. So a lot of talent coming back for the Lady Bearcats this year. Unable to have Chad Allen here tonight, but another fine team coming back for the Lady Bearcats. Wouldn't be surprised if they make it back to the Final Four again this year.
I wouldn't be surprised. Chad Allen does a wonderful job, and he has some fine athletes in those Dexter Lady Bearcats.
Yep, they've done a great job.
And you picked a good game to televise because Neelyville's going to bring a good game.
Yeah, Neelyville and Dexter. Neelyville, one of the top teams in the area last year. I think they play out of Class 2, and they actually matched up in that Twin Rivers Lady Royal Classic in the finals, and Neelyville beat Dexter last year.
I thought that's right.
I wouldn't be surprised. That's likely going to be the final over there again. So we'll see about that. Like you said, Neelyville and Dexter will be a good one there on January 11th. And then the next night, Friday, January 12th, we've got Bernie at Dexter. Always a fun game there, big rivalry game. And I think this year is going to live up more than it has in the past couple years, as Bernie's had some young guys, as we said, playing. Now they're seniors and a very good junior class as well. And this is going to live up to the hype of a typical Dexter-Bernie game at the Bearcat Event Center there on January 12th. So it'll be a good one.
Will be, yes.
Yeah. And moving on, the next week we got another game on Monday, January 15th, a girls game, Park Hill Central versus Dexter. That'll be a great one. Park Hill Central's done very good in Class 3. 2 years ago, they won the Class 3 state championship, and they used to play in the same district. I believe Park Hills was in Class 4 at one point. They moved down to Class 3, so they don't run into each other in the state tournament anymore, but certainly a lot of talent on the floor for that game. Should be a good one. One of the better girls games for the Bearcats, competition-wise, there with Park Hills Central. And Tuesday, January 16th, Saxony Lutheran at Kennett. Saxony Lutheran losing a couple guys from last year's team, went to the state tournament to the quarterfinals last year in Class 3, so they're going to lose a couple guys, but it should be a good matchup there with Kennett there on the 16th. And moving on to the next Friday, January 19th, we'll have New Madrid County Central at Dexter here at the Bearcat Event Center. Should be a nice SEMO conference matchup. They should match up pretty good this year.
So.
A younger group, and you got the youth versus the experience with those two, New Madrid and Dexter, for that game there on the 19th. And the next week, Monday, the January 22nd, we've got Gideon at Portageville. For that one, and we hadn't talked much about the Gideon Bulldogs, but Jordan McGowan heading them up for his second year. I think he's in his second year.
That's right.
And a pretty young group he's got this year. He's got some young kids down there, graduating quite a few seniors, but hopefully a competitive team there in the Tri-County Conference in the Gideon Bulldogs, taking on the Portageville Bulldogs. So I look forward to that one on January 22nd. Then the next night, Tuesday, January 23rd, we've got Poplar Bluff at Kennett. And that should be a good one, as the Poplar Bluff Mules had a pretty good year last year. The last season record was 16-10, and the returning players, Mercedes Leach as a junior, also the two juniors, Mercedes Leach and Dominique Hardiman. And these guys have really stood out over the last number of years. Dominique Hardiman used to be down at South Pemiscot and went over to Poplar Bluff last year, so that tandem of Leach and Hardiman is going to be tough to stop this year.
I've always thought Hardiman's one of the better players that's come out of this area. He was a freshman down at South Pemiscot, and last year we made the trip over to Poplar Bluff and watched Sykes and Poplar Bluff. And this Hardiman kid, in my opinion, is the best player Poplar Bluff had.
He's a good player. He's got so much. He can rebound. He can defend. He does it all. We saw that as a freshman at South Pemiscot. It's almost a shame he moved over there because we don't get to see him as much over here. We don't get to see him in the Bloomfield tournament anymore and some of those other games that we carry. But over there at Poplar Bluff, we do maybe one game of Poplar Bluffs each year, which we're doing Poplar Bluff and Kennett there on January 23rd. But Mercedes Leach, one of the top scorers, if not the top scorer in the area, certainly an offensive threat. And Hardiman's younger brother, I think he's only a sophomore this year? Is he going to be a sophomore? He's going to be a sophomore this year. I think he's going to contribute at the varsity level.
I think he will.
So, a Poplar Bluff team that only lost Willie Lucas, notably from last year's team. Very good player in Willie Lucas, but quite a bit coming back for the Poplar Bluff Mules this year. And let's move on to the next Friday night, January 26th. We got the Stoddard County Activity Association Finals, and that'll be there on the night of the 26th. It'll be all that week, and that will be at Dexter this year. At Dexter at the Bearcat Event Center. So we're going to bring the final night. That's 4 games. That's the third place and finals of JV and varsity starting, I believe, at 4 o'clock that afternoon. 4, 5:30, 7, and 8:30. All those 4 games, including the JV finals and third place game, along with the varsity third place and finals. So it's going to be another competitive tournament this year, and it'll be fun to see what comes out there at the Bearcat Event Center for the Stoddard County Conference this season. And Tuesday, January 30th, the next week, we got Marmaduke at Rector. Always a nice Northeast Arkansas matchup we carry each year. And the Marmaduke Greyhounds at the Rector Cougars. And the Rector Cougars taking on Sloan Hendricks tonight. And they're going to that game tonight at 0-3 on the year. And Rector's got quite a few young kids. They had a really good team, I think 2 years back, went to the semifinals in Class 2A in Arkansas. So that's the way it goes. You have a great year, and then you start rebuilding, and that's certainly where they're at now. But young group, Matt Mills does a great job with the Rector program, and always competitive. And we'll be looking forward to the Marmaduke Greyhounds and the Rector Cougars. They're on that Tuesday, January 30th, and Marmaduke's at 4-3 right now. 7-3. Okay, way off there. 7-3. The Marmaduke Greyhounds, really good program there at Marmaduke as well. And Thursday, the next Thursday, February 1st, we got Holcomb at Bloomfield. The Holcomb Hornets taking on the Bloomfield Wildcats. Be looking forward to that game. And speaking of Holcomb, they got a girls team this year.
They do.
Bringing up the girls team. Marty Young, a good friend of ours here on YHC. Done quite a few games with us here. He's heading up that girls program at Holcomb, and that's great for the Holcomb schools, getting that girls team going. More opportunity for the girls down there.
Yeah, I'm really glad to see that for Holcomb. And not a better person they could put in that coaching position is Marty Young.
Yeah.
Because he's fine, not only a good coach, he's a fine gentleman.
He is, and he does a great job. And Holcomb, growing community down there. It's good to see more activities down there, especially for the girls program starting this year. And Friday, February 2nd, we'll have the Boot Hill Conference Finals. Boot Hill Conference Finals on that Friday. It'll go on all week. But wrapping up there Friday, February 2nd, and we'll bring the JV and varsity finals. 2 games, 6 and 7:30, the JV and varsity finals. Not sure where that's at this year.
I'm not either.
But we'll be there. Count on it. Wherever it's at.
I don't think it'll be Malden. I think Malden's had the last 2 years.
Yeah, Malden had it last year, I think.
The year before. They had 2 years in a row.
Okay, I thought Hayti had it the year before.
I think Malden. Now I could be wrong, but
they had the girls and the boys last year.
Because Isa said he was at school all the time.
Yeah. He should be. He should be.
That's what I tell him.
All right, so that's always a great one. The
Yes,
Boot Hill
it
Conference
is.
Finals had a good one last year with I believe it was Hayti and Crothersville last year. Crothersville, the Boot Hill Conference champs last year. Could be once again this year, but certainly a great conference, and we'll look forward to those finals there on February 2nd. Then Monday, February 5th, we've got Perryville at Dexter. Non-conference matchup there. Perryville Pirates coming down at the Bearcat Event Center for that matchup on Monday, February 5th. So we'll look forward to that one. Tuesday, February 6th, we've got Hayti at Bernie, and that'll be a great one. That was probably one of the, if not the game of the year last year. Certainly one of the best games we brought to you here on YHC last year. Hayti and Bernie. Might be a district championship matchup.
That could be.
Yeah, it could be.
Could be a preview.
And Bernie's hosting the districts this year. That's quite a surprise. We'll be there early that day for that district title game probably. We'll probably go have lunch with the kids and be sure to get our space because that place is going to be packed out.
It will be packed. We should go
it won't take long. Going to camp out, yeah. But that should be a great game there. And take a look at Hayti coming back. They had a 19-12 record last season. Very good team. They took some losses, but a very good team. Played in the championship of the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament and the Boot Hill Conference Tournament, getting second place in both of those, winning the district championship, and lost out, I believe, to Thayer. Was it Thayer in the sectionals, I believe, in Class 2 last year? But they bring back some good players. They got Kobe Cooper coming back, Darius Jones, Devontae Robinson, Kervontae Moore, and Jared Covington. And those are just the kids coming back from the varsity last year. They probably have some kids coming up as well. So not a lot of size out of the Indians, but a lot of quickness, athleticism. And, they're going to bring back a pretty good team once again this year.
They'll be fun to watch, and they'll be in the mix any tournament they're in.
Yeah.
And I see they've got the #1 seed at the Bulldog Classic over Crothersville. So
Yeah, and that's probably going to be by a clash in that final.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think it will be it.
Yeah, we could see that come down into the conference as well.
Mm-hmm.
So look out for the Hayti Indians once again this season. And moving ahead, we've got another girls' game on February 8th. We've got the Dexter Bearcats hosting the Cape Central Lady Tigers, and that CMO Conference matchup on Thursday, February 8th. And moving ahead to the next night, Friday, February 9th, we've got Dexter at Kennett. Dexter at Kennett in that CMO Conference matchup, and that'll be a good one. We might even see them in the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament matchup. That seems like that game's always the rematch.
Really?
We do this game every year, but it seems like, and that's it's usually the same week every year. So that's February 9th. It's like a little over a month from the Christmas tournament, and it seems like it's always the rematch. They match up in the semifinals or the finals or at some point, and that's always the rematch in the tournament. So might see that once again this year. Actually, it was last year. Dexter beat Kennett. I believe they beat Kennett in the semifinals, if I'm not mistaken, or it might have been Hayti Kennett. I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember, but that game last year was a good one. Kennett won at the buzzer on a big long three off an inbound. I can't remember that kid. Kennan, JD.
Where's McVeigh when we need him?
Yeah, I know. Where's he at? But I can't remember that kid's name. It's going to come to me once we leave. But anyways, he hit that big three off the glass at the buzzer and won that one at the Bearcat Event Center. But that might be a rematch. I wouldn't doubt it if you see that these teams match up in either a semifinal or a final in the Bloomfield Christmas Tournament, and very well be a rematch. So that'll be a good one on February 9th. And ahead to Holcomb and Portageville on Monday, February 12th. Holcomb and Portageville. We talked about the Portageville Bulldogs as well earlier in the broadcast, and a very experienced team out of Portageville this year. And the only thing is they play in Class 3. That's one thing. Portageville's right on that edge of Class 2, Class 3. Right now they're in Class 3, so they got to play up and play against Kennett and Crothersville and Madrid, those guys. But got an experienced team this year, a lot of athleticism on the floor. And Portageville is kind of like Bernie. They've had some younger kids play at the varsity level, and going to see more of an upper class team this year for the Bulldogs, and should be exciting.
Should be.
Yeah, Holcomb had a couple tough years. They got some young kids they're going to play again this year, but that's just the way of high school basketball.
That's right. Yeah.
Hopefully they can put together a competitive team this year there in Holcomb. And ahead to February 13th, we've got Crothersville at Kennett, and used to be Boot Hill Conference foes, but Kennett now exclusively playing in the CMO Conference, but nonetheless should be a good game. They matched up in the regular season last year. Crothersville beat Kennett not by much, and they met up again in the district semifinals, and it was pretty much the same game. I think there was about 8 points that separated the two in the two matchups, but Lamont Bell's done a great job down there in the last number of years. The Crothersville Tigers bringing back a very good team this year. They went 19-5 last year and lost to Saxony Lutheran in the sectionals last year. Lost to Saxony Lutheran in the sectionals, and returning some good players. You got Charles Galladay coming off the football field as quarterback, going to be back on the basketball court this year. Talon Fonda, senior, coming back, and DeAndre Davis, also a senior, but we understand he had a big knee injury during football season, so likely he's not going to be on the basketball court this year, which is...
Hate that for them and the young man. I hate it for him. He's a good athlete.
Yeah, he was tough last year. Really did well in the paint, right there on the glass, rebounding, scoring there into the basket, there in the paint for the Tigers. That's tough. Really looking forward to seeing him back on the court this year, but nonetheless, Crothersville going to have a competitive team this year, competing in that Boot Hill Conference, and also in Class 3. They're going to be right there in the mix for a district title once again this year, and it'll be exciting to watch once again.
Because Charleston's in that same district, so boy, there's some good teams in that thing.
Yeah, Charleston, Crothersville, Portageville's in there. That's a team to look at.
Kennett's going to be in there.
Yeah, it's going to be that Class 3 District 1's always been a competitive one. And it's going to be no different this year, and we're looking forward to some very good basketball there in the Class 3 District 1 this season. And moving ahead, just a few more games here. On Thursday, February 15th, we've got Malden at Holcomb. Malden at Holcomb there on February 15th on that Thursday. And as we mentioned, Malden had Andrew Halford on earlier in the broadcast. Going to be on the road against Holcomb. And Holcomb back in the Tri-County Conference now. They're out of the Boot Hill now, so that won't be a conference matchup, I don't believe. So Holcomb back in the Tri-County Conference. So a non-conference matchup there with Malden at Holcomb. Then our last regular season game on the schedule for the year is February 19th. We've got a girls game, Jackson at Dexter, and that'll be a great one. That could very well decide the regular season SEMO Conference title. In that game, Jackson at Dexter at the Bearcat Event Center on February 19th. Jackson, a very good team coming back this year, very senior-laden group, as well as the Dexter Bearcats, bringing back a very good team once again this season as well. And they'll probably match up in that SEMO Conference tournament. I think they get underway next week with their SEMO Conference tournament. It might be a couple weeks. Either way, the girls' SEMO Conference put up a tournament as well. They play over at Poplar Bluff. So they're the number 1 and 2 seeds in that. So we might see them in that tournament final, and then again here at the end of the season on February 19th for perhaps the regular season title. So we'll be able to bring that here on YHC there on February 19th. So that'll be fun to watch, see how that plays out. So that's our regular season. That's all of our broadcasts for the year. But of course, come end of February into March, we'll carry quite a few district and state tournament games. Actually, we're going to probably maybe do, that I think that Friday night's always a tough one. They've put some of these district tournaments on the same nights, the finals. Actually, I think this year we're going to actually do some dual broadcasting, at least all over the website. Of course, we can only bring one game on TV here at each night, but come district tournament time, we might do 2 games in one night and have at least both games on our website at yhctv.com and semosportzone.com. Going to get that going up here in the next week as well. So a lot of district and state tournament action coming to you at the end of the year, boys and girls. So we'll be looking forward to those matchups at the end of the year. And I think we're going to have some good ones come district tournament time.
I think you're exactly right.
Yep. And we typically carry the Class 1 district finals, Class 2 district one finals typically. So we'll see what happens. As long as the right gymnasium, but at this point we can almost carry any game from anywhere at this point. And all of our games will be live this year. We've done that for the last couple of years, and it's taken us a while to get there. It was all tape delayed, not only maybe. It's been a good while now. About 6-7 years ago, it was all tape delayed. Then we got into the live business, and now every game's live that we bring to you. So we've come a long way, and it's been a lot of fun, and expect to have a lot of fun once again this year.
Yeah, we've met a lot of good people along the way.
Yeah,
that's helped us, and it's just a fun thing to do. And I know these young people may not say much; they appreciate it too. You know, they look around seeing, and it's great. People can, live anywhere and watch their grandsons or something play basketball, or their granddaughters. That's great.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. The people that are watching that are tweeting or Facebook messaging or anything out there where they're watching from. It's just unbelievable how far these people watch from. I know the Christmas tournament, we get the most of it at Bloomfield. We'll have Bloomfield alums watching from Hawaii, Virginia, even overseas, and I think Norway. It's just unbelievable how far they watch from, and the internet's just totally opened that up to that possibility. And of course, here on Channel 21 with the New Wave, and big props to New Wave Communications. We probably don't give them enough credit. We work quite a bit together, bringing these games live at a lot of these locations, and having the capability with football and basketball. And they do a great job of helping us bring all this to you here on their cable system on Channel 21. So appreciate all the guys at New Wave that help us make this happen and bring you the great tradition that is SEMO Sports, Southeast Missouri basketball, and even football here on New Wave Cable, Channel 21, and of course via website at yhctv.com. So we've had a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to this year. Most years we're going deep with football. We're doing football in the quarterfinal, semifinal round, so you're just so into football, and then all of a sudden you just turn the page and it's basketball. it takes me a couple of weeks just to catch up. These kids are going up down the court, and I'm used to seeing football for the last 3 months, and can't really keep up. And the terminology is not working in my head quick enough. I'm trying to say shot up, rebound, assist, and it just doesn't come together for a couple of weeks. But I've been watching quite a bit of basketball already, so I'm going to be ready. Come December 1st, the Bernie Invitational Tournament Final. There in Bernie, 7 o'clock on December 1st. I'll be ready, and it's going to be a great tournament to get started with. And got a fine season ahead of us. A lot of good teams, and looking forward to another great year. And we didn't have Terry McVeigh on tonight. We expected to have him videoed in, and he's running late with the city council down there in Kennett, so taking care of business down there.
Yeah, well, there you go. Terry, and I'm glad. Don't tell Terry I said this.
Oh, it's on video, man.
Yeah. Don't tell him anyway. Let him find it out.
We'll blank us out.
Terry McVeigh is a very knowledgeable person when it comes to basketball. And he does a wonderful job broadcasting games. And I know if Terry could vote, he would rather be here tonight than a city council meeting.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of hats he wears down there.
He does.
Yeah, down there in Kennett and Dunklin County. He's on the fair board. He's a city attorney, and actually he's city attorney for 3 or 4 towns down there, I believe. So yeah, he's certainly got his hands full, and he'll be along with us this year, and Tommy, of course, and quite a few other guys out there. We're going to bring on some new blood this year to help us out this year. A couple of guys that are going to be helping out more so this year, and we're going to need it. All in 26 games of the Bloomfield tournament, among the others. So we'll be looking forward to another year, and glad you joined us here tonight for our basketball preview, and appreciate all the guys that called in tonight. Andrew Halford, Brad Botsch, Travis Day, Jason Karnes, Brandon Blankenship, Josh Dowdy. Appreciate all you guys sharing your time with us tonight, heading into the Thanksgiving weekend, and wish all of you to have a great Thanksgiving weekend. And for Tommy Jacques, myself, Tyler Wagner, got Gary Davis in the bullpen, bringing you all the content tonight. And again, we'll have our schedule on our website tomorrow. We'll get that up tonight, ready to go on the website tomorrow. If you want to catch up on all the games that we're covering, go to our website at yhctv.com. We'll have it up there, and even follow us on Facebook and keep up with it there as well. And like I said, the first one, Bernie Invitational Tournament Finals, next Friday, December 1st, right here on YHC. And can't wait, ready to get started for another basketball season here on your hometown channel. Good night, everyone. And Tommy, appreciate you coming up, man.
I appreciate it. Always enjoy it.
Yep. And we appreciate all of you once again. And take care. Have a great Thanksgiving weekend.